Hello, my name is Chris Palmer, and in today's video, I want to discuss ranking in Google Maps. So, a few months back, I produced and created a video on I used a technique to increase the rank in Google Maps, and I was asked numerous times, what software did I use? How did I do it? What was the process? Because I did not break down how I ranked higher in Google Maps. So in this video, that's exactly what I want to cover. I want to be 100% transparent. I want to show you exactly the tool I used, what I did, the process that I used. Now, I want to be upfront and honest. Recently, it has been taking longer to produce a effect, okay? So it has been taking longer. You can implement the strategy, maybe not this tool, but maybe another tool, but this particular technique is still viable in 2020 to rank higher in Google Maps, but it does take a little bit longer and you have to be a lot more cautious about what you're doing. So that's my recommendation. Be cautious. Make sure you're doing things a little bit more up to par. And let's get into this video on how to rank higher in Google Maps. So I made this video and I used a technique on a client's site, and it was completely okay. They had numerous locations, and what we did is we implemented CTR by using a tool. Now, if you stick with me, I'll show you the tool and I'll show you the process step by step, exactly what I did and how I did it. So you too could maybe start playing with this particular method or this technique to rank higher in Google Maps. So let's skip ahead a little bit. And all right, so the test was, and I'm just going to read this to you. I had a client that was already in the 3-pack. Okay, and this video is already on the channel. You can watch it if you would like. He has multiple listings. So he said, go for it, Chris. And those were his exact words. He said, just go for it. And I said, okay, good sir. So the test was, could I boost his listing with clicks to his listing, his Google Maps listing, and as a bonus, would it boost the organic listing? Now, it did boost the organic listing, but only a little. But the main point of this was we were able to get an increase in the Google Maps. Now, this particular listing had very low levels of reviews, and with clicks directly to the listing, the monthly, and you can take a look here, the monthly search volume for this particular keyword that he was ranking for, that he was showing up for, was only 1,200. Now, I forget the exact amount that we sent to this listing, but we were able to take this listing here, which was number 3, and bring it all the way up. And this happened within 3 days. Now, this was on 5/12 of last year, and this is what I'm covering with you. And then I'll show you the tool that I used, and then I'll discuss a little bit more in detail so I could be a little bit more transparent, because that's what everyone was asking me to do. We sent the traffic to this listing. This was clicks directly to the listing, but what we did is I actually had an idea to recreate tests that he did with CTR. Now, as you can see, there was a big spike here on the 13th, and this is when we sent all of the clicks. Okay, I just wanted to show that. So that night, we ran the script. I used a program with USA-based proxies from California in order to increase the click-through of the listing. And to touch back on the subject, what I did is I recreated the CTR that Rand Fishkin did, and I used a referrer of Twitter. I used that referrer on the Twitter post. I went to the Twitter post, clicked the Twitter post, and then it took me to the listing, where then I went on and created the influx in CTR. And then on the 16th, which was only 3 days later, now this takes a lot longer now, we actually saw a boost and it went to number 1. Now, this particular listing only has a 2.3 star. This is no longer a client. We no longer work together. They have numerous other projects that they're doing. So at this time, because this listing is no longer. So this particular project is over. The test is done. Things have changed. So let me explain a bit about what we did. So I showed the test. I explained it. What I want to do in today's video is I want to discuss a little bit more about the tool that I used and more of the process. So what I used was this particular tool here, and I've never showed this before. I just want to be transparent. Now, again, things take a lot longer. You have to be a lot more safe. I want to let you know that up front. But what we did is I implemented, and I don't know if I have any of the files that I used. So what I did is I recreated the test. So I put a tweet out, which was an address, all right, to the listing. So I had the Supreme Traffic Bot, and I'm not promoting the Supreme Traffic Bot. I don't work for them. I don't have an affiliate link. I don't know anything about it. I'm just saying this is what I used. Okay, I'm not saying that this still works. I'm not saying that this is the best thing to do. I'm just going over what I did to produce that result because I was asked to be a little bit more transparent of what I did. Okay, so I just want to make that 100% clear. Okay, my friends, this isn't a pitch. I'm not saying this is the best tool or anything of that nature. I'm just walking you through. So I recreated Rand Fishkin's test. So I put a Twitter post out. I had the bot go to the post, click on the post. It then went to the listing, and when it went to the listing, it was like a click. And I did that. I believe that the search volume was about 1,200 or so, and I did that for exactly half of the amount. And what ended up happening, and this was only one day, I increased the traffic to the listing. 3 days later, there was a boost, but it only stayed for a few days. But what did happen is the gentleman's listing increased in rank, and that sat there for about a week, maybe 10 days. So this is how I did the test. I simply just recreated Rand Fishkin's CTR test. I used the Twitter post. I went to the post, it went to the listing, it increased the CTR, the click-through, and that's exactly how I did it. So I wanted to walk you through this process of how I increased the ranking for Google Maps. It was with this tool. I used USA proxies based in the state and the country. And that's really exactly what I did. So for those who asked about this method and how it was done and how it was implemented, this is how it was done. If you have any questions about click-through rate, if you have any questions about how to increase rank in Google Maps, if you have any questions about Google My Business, local SEO, digital marketing, really anything digital marketing related, please feel free to leave it in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next SEO, how to increase Google Maps listings video. Have a wonderful day.